Yo, what's up, YouTube? Debbie2100 here, and today, my chooms, we have a Cyberpunk video, as you can see. I wanted to do this video. Let me bring it in like this quick. I wanted to do this video for a few reasons. As you saw in the title of this person's video, Johnny Silverhand's memories are lying. I really, really did not like the way it is titled. I think it is very clickbaity. Because in a sense, lying would imply that it's done out of malicious intent or that it was purposely done by Johnny. Okay, and I do like that this guy, out of all the other ones I have watched, this is a YouTuber by the name of Laid Back Gamers is the name of the channel here, and so I watched a couple of these videos and I was like, I do like the way the person details all the information here, but I do feel like there is some stuff that needs to be actually brought up beforehand. Now, the reason why I wanted to do this video here is because there's a few other YouTubers out there that are claiming that, in a sense, it feels like Johnny is doing it because he thinks of himself as so much bigger than the picture is. And actually, Laidback does say that actually a few times about Johnny. And I want to say, well, yes, I could agree that Johnny is definitely egotistical, very vain. I know this. I myself am very egotistical and vain at times. However, I would like to point out that Johnny is in the ploy of Militech. I should say, spoilers, by the way. Spoilers for those who have never played the tabletop games. If you wanted to read the books, play the tabletops, please go do so. End this video right now. Go do so. Otherwise, for those that don't care either about the spoilers or you already know about the lore, then you know that Morgan Blackhand, who has been very, very faintly referenced in the game, and all the stuff that's actually in 2077. There's a few characters that'll talk about him, and a few things like that, and a few tid pieces of like advertisements and stuff like that. Now, with that being said, Morgan Blackhand is, in fact, the true, actual adversary of Adam Smasher, and in fact, the moment in which Johnny gets blasted off the second level on from Arasaka Tower, lands on his back, and is then shooting at Smasher and stuff like that. There's a little bit of an alteration there for those who don't know, and if you want to know again, and you're not caring about spoilers or anything like that, Johnny fucking dies right there. I just want to be clear about that. That is where Johnny Silverhand's story officially ends as a human. Okay. There was no, he somehow escapes that and then runs up to the top of the tower to then be killed by or to not even be killed, but to be taken hostage by Smasher. Because the way Smasher says, "I told you, Johnny boy, I'd kill you someday." You would think that Smasher would not leave Johnny then alive to be interrogated by Arasaka. I mean, granted, yes, he is Arasaka's, main cyborg, so he would potentially be like, okay, hey, there's a directive here. As soon as you get Silverhand, you need to just bring him back. However, that's not entirely the case. Now, for those who don't know, Spider Murphy, who is with you at the mission, the tower, when you get capped by Dex, and V is now living Johnny's memories, and he goes through the night of Arasaka Tower's bombing. So when you're there and she's opening the door to the staircase and stuff, she is there, in fact, with all of them up until a point where Johnny gets killed. They start telling her, come on, the shit's blowing up, things are going shit, we need to get the fuck out of here. And what happens is, Johnny, brazenly, when gets fired down, Morgan and Adam are already locked in. Like, as soon as Johnny goes flying off the ledge, Adam doesn't even give a fuck about him. He instantly locks in with Morgan Blackhand. And in that, he then decides, oh, okay, hey, you know what? I'm going to take this moment here to definitely probably say some shit to Morgan and stuff like that, because he hates Morgan Blackhand. For those that don't know, Morgan is the embodiment of everything that Adam hates. He is in the firm belief that machine is better than flesh. And for him, Morgan embodies that flesh can sometimes be better than machine. And I love that implication with that, because I'm definitely like a huge fan of the Borgs and everything like that in the actual tabletop game. But to see that, the duality in the battle that takes place with that is amazing. Now, what happens though is Johnny then decides, oh hey, I'm gonna get up with a military. And again, The reason why it is so emphasis even in these videos, the videos you guys are seeing, is because Militech is, in fact, the people who employed both Johnny and Morgan Blackhand to cripple Arasaka Towers. Now, the issue with these videos, okay? So let's just dive in with this real quick. You kind of get an idea here. So,
Now, I don't say this to be an asshole. Rather, I say this as a large portion of the dialogue and memories from Silverhand are either mixed up or directly falsified in 2077.
now, so with that saying that, okay, I do not think that it is fair to say that it is either on Johnny or even Johnny's memories per se. What you're gonna get into with these things is that Johnny's memories are definitely altered. Somebody somewhere at some point in time has altered these memories for what purpose and why, to get to the end result. Did they accomplish that? We won't know really probably until Phantom Liberty comes out, and I'm really really excited for Phantom Liberty to come out. By the way, everybody, like I am definitely excited for that. We're only getting one DLC. It's gonna be an amazing DLC, I feel, and I cannot wait for the next Cyberpunk project. I am definitely sold on the game. We had a rough launch, yes, we did. We had an amazingly hardcore rough launch, and I say it amazingly because I don't think anybody else could have really had shot themselves in the foot the way CDPR did, but then to come back all the way around and be like, hey, we patched up our shot, and we did a lot of cool extra things, as well. Plus Edge Runners, which is, you guys notice it says Edge Runners Update. If you guys haven't watched the show, by the way, I definitely implore you, go watch it. It's on Netflix, 10 episodes. I'm going to let you know there's nothing else coming out after that. So you don't have to be like, well, I'm waiting for the second season. There isn't going to be one. This is one season. Go watch it. It's amazing. So with that being all said, I want to point out too that, so with a lot of stuff that comes out with the Cyberpunk update from the Edge Runners update and the show, there's a lot of little tie-ins here and there, okay? And I don't want to just spoil everything right out the door, but I want to make clear that Morgan Blackhand is in fact much more intricate and more crucial to this story than what has been relayed to us. Now, what I would like to think, and I'm going to propose this theory here at the beginning of the video, and I want you guys, as we go along and talk more about this, I want everybody to kind of drop their ideas in the comments below as well. What do you think about this theory? Or what theories do you have as well? Because the way I see this so far, if you were to play the tabletop game Red, you would have the abridged more a story, the lore, that connects the original tabletop game to 2077. And what it does is it explains in a mission called Black Dog. And in Black Dog, there is a group of edge runners that have got the goal set mission to find an unreleased samurai track and release it to the public. And if you are savvy enough with the radio in the game and you've noticed, a certain song play, well, you know that Black Dog has been released to the public, i.e., those edge runners succeeded in their mission. Well, one of the edge runners, named Angel, has a very, very striking resemblance to Alt Cunningham. And in fact, at the end of that mission in the tabletop game, she will grab Johnny's head and says, "Hello, my love." So I do feel that it heavily implies that this could be either in a weird... Reincarnation is not what you might think in this game. It is not what we're thinking in the sense of like Buddhism and stuff like that. I do think it's funny that there is a lot of Buddhist monks throughout 2077 heavily implicating the reincarnation idea, because I definitely think that Alt in some ways had a hand with Angel, whether or not it's in a complete separate entity that was just obsessed with Johnny, or whether I feel more inclined to believe that maybe because we see people like Mr. Blue Eyes and a few other people, what's to say that she's not a rogue AI that has escaped the Black Wall? We've seen it so many times now that is something that they can do. While it takes a great deal of effort, they can accomplish it. I really feel like there's a lot of characters that really signify that the Black Wall is not nearly as stable as we might think it is, and why it was so easy for Alt to really just effectively use the Voodoo Boys to breach it. So there's a lot of stuff to really take in there in a lot of ways. So with that all being said, you have that information. I think because there's another person, her name is Samantha. Now she's going to play another big role in this. She's going to be a person who found Johnny's body after Spider had actually used the relic on Johnny. So remember when I was talking about Johnny in the tower with Spider? Yeah, she actually is the reason why the relic is used. It is not Saburo. Saburo never has him interrogated like that or anything like that. So I feel that Militech themselves implied that, hey, we want you to alter these memories to make Johnny absolutely hate Arasaka. And either A, that's what the main part was. The second idea is that they wanted the person to do that, but instead they made Johnny just hate all companies. Because if you think about it, Johnny really does seem to hate all the corporations and stuff like that, even though he himself, for the tower mission, is employed by Militech. He's taking Militech's dollar. There is a significance to that. I know some people are going to be like, well, he just signed up because he wanted to help find Alt. There's still more to be said in that whole thing. And I definitely think with Phantom Liberty, we're going to get a lot more little nuggets of detail that are going to come out about the whole thing. Specifically, I also noticed that there is a lot of tie-ins to the Paralysis mission, Dream On, with the idea of when you go to do the brain scan thing and you see all the names and you see the people, well, there was an engram on there that you would see that people, and I myself have saw it in the new trailer for Phantom Liberty. I am pretty sure that is the same exact person. I'm actually like 100% guaranteed that is the same exact person that was in that little engram there. So when we get Phantom Liberty, I feel like we're definitely going to get a lot of lore. So when I say that this is going to be probably the best thing to happen to Cyberpunk 2077, I'm definitely not lying in that regard. Like, I know I've made that comment about when I said the next gen update was going to be, one of the best things that's happened to it, and it was. Honestly, it improved a lot of the bugs. It fixed a lot of other issues. They gave some little extra, mementos. Then they started, releasing the show. Then you had the Edge Runners update, and now we have Phantom Liberty coming out in 2023, and I am beyond excited, chat. So let me know what you guys think, though, also down below with that, because honestly, I know people are still kind of like, is it gonna be a great launch, or are we gonna have a repeat? I don't think so. I honestly think we're gonna have a good launch. So let's go ahead and keep going through here now.
Result of Silverhand's inflated ego, as well as his traumatized and fragmented mind.
Now, again, this is also important. Remember this, that Alt does know that Johnny accidentally more or less killed her. So when I did say Angel, because I know somebody's going to be like, well, why would she be forgiving of him, da-da-da-da? Well, I mean, at this fucking point, Johnny, I think, probably would have been, like, forgiven by an actual human being. So when she gets pulled out of the chair here, she screams to Johnny without him being able to hear it, because she's in the web. So I think with the Angel character, it was her way of forgiving, that being the actual version Alt, because now we know that the engram that's in there is just a fragmented version that Spider herself actually had kept together for so long and helped put all back together, but she was still missing one fragment, and that fragment is Johnny. Now there is something that people I don't think realize when they talk about that thing, because even laid back games, I don't think he actually mentions it, but it's like Johnny is that integral, but he is still integral. He is very integral to this part of the story, because this is where it actually matters. You see, this part here doesn't exist. This does. Now, here's what happened, okay? You have a fragmented Alt Cunningham, the digital construct, right? She's scattered to the fucking ether. And eventually, at one point, she will get all of her parts put back together, and she will become whole, and then do whatever, right? She's going to breach the black wall. I think that's what Spider really wanted, was the revenge for both, or actually all three, for Johnny, for Alt, and for Rach Bartmoss. So she really wanted that revenge. She really played it in their heart. So, what was the relic that she jacked into Johnny's head holding? Well, a construct of Alt already on there. There was already a part of her engram on there. Okay? So, you have a part of that key that's been locked with Johnny. Ironically enough, right? The love of her life. Well, his life more so, I would assume. It doesn't always seem like at times that she really had that same mutual feelings. I felt like she felt that he was a little too brash in his idea. Obvious. So, with all that being said, again, I disclose, what is it to say that Johnny is not, in this sense, not actually as non-integral to the stories as we're being told right now, even in this video? I think he is. I think he's still integral because, again, he's holding a piece of Alt, which is why the Voodoo Boys want it so bad. It's not just to make contact, but I feel like that the Voodoo Boys know that Alt is also got a piece of that engram onto that engram, and they need that. They need that engram so that they could fully have her restored and then use her the way they thought they were going to use Alt, which we all know she wasn't going to play ball. So, now, this again is where the conflicting memories are. Johnny never got up here. This is actually where Morgan and Adam have their ultimate battle. They're fighting as a nuclear explosion is going off, fam. Like, think about that. Nuclear explosion going off. Two legendary solos duking at it, man. That would have been the most Cyberpunk thing to see. Saying.
Personally wants to believe himself to be much more central to the plot than he is in reality. For those of us who did not previously know, Cyberpunk 2077 is actually based upon the Cyberpunk tabletop RPG.
And by the way, an amazing tabletop RPG game. If you guys have not played any of these, I highly recommend you do. Like, I know some people might be like, oh man, it's just like, you know, a sci-fi version of Dungeons and Dragons. Hey, you wouldn't be necessarily wrong. Wouldn't be right either. Because this goes really heavy into darkness, like with deep, depressing stories. Like, Mike Pondsmith is a fucking legend. Like, I will never be able to say that enough. Mike Pondsmith, dude, is just beyond a legend for what he created with the Cyberpunk lore. So,
and story written by Mike Pondsmith. These books are considered the prequels to 2077 and
so this is the original 2020, the second edition. Now you see it says the second edition. There was one before 2020. It is the 2012. It is very hard to find. As far as I remember, 2012 was the hardest one to ever find. This is, though, the one I remember playing. This came out, Red came out because it's 2048 technically in the timeline. This comes out at the bridge, both 2020, 2077. You got 50 damn years. You got a bridge. A lot of damn time.
more specifically, Cyberpunk Red was created to help bridge the story into 2077.
Such a good show.
Pulling from Cyberpunk Red's handbook, I specifically want to cover the Night City Holocaust.
Now this is so in Red, this is what it's referred to. They don't call it the Night City bombing or Arasaka Tower bombing. It is referred to as the Night City Holocaust. Okay, an incursion team led by Solo Morgan Blackhand and Rocker Boy Johnny Silverhand attempt to steal and / destroy the Arasaka.
Which is awesome.
So that is also important. Also, look at this total breakdown of international trade. Container ship and air travel have totally disrupted. Supplies and food sit on the docks worldwide, unable to reach stores, factories, or suppliers. Many megacorps collapsed. There was a huge famine and huge issue going on right at this point, and things are really just building up. Pressure's building up in everywhere in the Night City, in USA, even in Europe. The whole world is just at a standstill. It's about to be like Cold War. It's a Cold War standing about to turn into World War.
Also known as the Arasaka
But more importantly, that World War would be obviously fought with cyberware.
headquarters bombing. We see this event as we glimpse into Silverhand's memories.
That's that right there. As you can see, I wanted to wait for her to move. So that right there is what is going on. Okay, Johnny doesn't ever see this. He's already dead. He is somehow locked away in one of the bunkers that actually has power, all other stuff like that. Now, the funny thing is if I'm not mistaken, this doctor's name is Samantha Stevens, and that is the name of the doctor who saves Johnny. And it was just kind of ironic that the way they have this all implied. Actually, no, that might be Samantha Stevens there, because this is the, so this is the dude. So this chick right here, I think, is supposed to be a representation of Samantha Stevens, who, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember from the lore, she worked for Militech.
But these glimpses don't properly portray what actually occurred on this day. There are huge inconsistencies and falsifications scattered throughout Silverhand's memories that are just staggering. I'm going to give a complete analysis.
I was going to just take a moment to just appreciate the beauty of this fucking city. I mean, seriously, this city is amazing. Look at how fucking gorgeous this is.
An explanation of what actually happened during the Night City Holocaust that compiles information directly from the source books. This will be lengthy, but it helps to shed new light onto 2077's story.
So, before he gets into it, I will say yes. For those who have not read the lore books, and if you don't want to read the lore books, there is actually a YouTuber that goes by The Neon Arcade. Go check them out. They have a 2-part series on the entire lore. That's all you need right there. It's literally a 2-part series. I think the first one's like an hour or something, and then the second one's like maybe 40 minutes long. But it encompasses the entirety of Cyberpunk lore. It is the best way to get all your information. That was right before the launch of the actual game. I don't know if they've redone one or not to like reabridge all this stuff now that with 2077 out now to fill in some of the gaps that they didn't have before. So who knows? I would like to see that. But definitely go check out the Neon Arcade for the actual lore. If you wanted to not have to read the books and you just want kind of like a nice like audiobook status, and it's done really well with some of the artwork from the game, from the books, and then from the actual oh damn, I can't remember. One of those actual art books. Like there's an actual name for those things, but the actual book for all the artwork through the throughout the entirety of Cyberpunk. So there's a lot of cool stuff that they use for that, which I thought was really nice. So
the Fourth Corporate War on August 20th, 2023, a Militech incursion team led by Morgan Blackhand and Johnnies.
Again, Militech incursion team.
Silverhand.
The direct hatred of Arasaka, by the way.
Attempted an infiltration mission into the Arasaka towers of Night City in order to copy or destroy the Arasaka Corporation's reliquary database.
So see, this is important. That is why Morgan and Johnny are there. They're there for the relic. They're there for all that information so that Militech can build one and do the same exact thing. They don't want Arasaka to have that technology. They want it for themselves.
Project and erase the Soul Killer program from their network. The idea was to render the database project unusable for the rival corp by using a tactical nuclear device with the planned area, a heavily shielded complex, to absorb the impact of a blast and prevent massive destruction.
Yeah, because ideally, Morgan Blackhand, for those who don't know, he's very well known for being able to get a job with as few casualties as possible to even none. He's the type of person who, well, he is not opposed to killing. He is more so opposed to just not being a mindless killer. He only has to kill when he has to and when it's necessary. So these are the things that are going to be important. So there's 2 bombs that are being taken place. One is, I do believe, with Johnny, and the other one is supposed to be with Morgan. Or no, actually, I think the other one is actually Arasaka's own bomb that's in the tower. And I think it's kind of like set there as like their like own like self-defense mechanism. Like, hey, if we, somebody was to try to jack our shit, we'll just wipe this thing.
Johnny Silverhand led Team Alpha, consisting of a few Militech Special Ops, a portion of a group of Aldecados, known as the Lobos, the Solos Rogue and Shaitan, the media.
These guys are important because you do not see these two at all. Okay? We do not see them at all. We see Rogue, we see Shaitan. Shaitan gets shot in the helicopter start. We don't even see him. We do see Spider. Oh, damn it, I didn't pause the time. So, of course. There, perfect. There we go. There's Spider. So, there's Spider Murphy. She is the reason why Johnny gets the relic, by the way. For those who don't know.
Morgan Blackhand would instead lead Team Omega with the rest of the Militech strike forces. Johnny's team dropped out of an AV on the top floor of the Arasaka towers, with the mission of infiltrating the laboratories 10 levels down into the building to retrieve Alt Cunningham, who is trapped in the Arasaka network.
Okay, so that's right, yeah. So Johnny doesn't have a bomb. He was just there to find Alt.
And destroy Soul Killer. It's unknown which path the Omega team took, but the last one to see Blackhand was one of the Lobos, who witnessed him heading down a stairwell with a heavy suitcase. After breaching,
meaning he had the bomb, not Johnny.
Into the building, Alpha Team rushed to the labs where Spider accessed the Arasaka computers in order to contact.
Now that I feel like it was a little altered, but I think that is the same exact area where you see the news statement from Mayor Ebunike. Ebunike is like, like we're not gonna let the terrorism attack, da 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 da. And she's like, oh shit, we made the news, so she shows you that clip. So
Alt and rescue her. After transferring her into Spider's data suitcase, the Netrunner proceeded to download some kind of information into data chips and uploaded a virus to destroy any information regarding Soulkiller from the Arasaka network. When questioned by Thomas about the data chips, Spider lied to him, saying they only contained information on the Arasaka development team
she didn't want to release anything that she had found.
and other basic corporate knowledge. Alpha Team was suddenly attacked by Atom Smasher and a group of Arasaka troopers.
Okay, so again, this is where the story does not blend together and the memories are all altered. So,
taking down many of the Militech operatives and Lobos in the first attack, badly injuring Thompson and pinning down the rest of the team in the labs. While both groups fired at each other, Spider snuck to her data suitcase in order to connect into the net and scatter the various portions of Alt.
again, she scatters the various portions of Alt Cunningham.
Each tagged with a marker with the hopes of finding them someday. During these events, Johnny, who had been knocked off by the initial attack, managed to stand up. With a Militech SMG on one hand and his Malorian on the other, he shouted and provoked Smasher, futilely emptying his guns on the Borg. Smasher turned around and fired his auto shotgun.
By the way, it is actually written that Adam is more or less just like flabbergasted. He looks over like, are you kidding me? This tiny little human wants to fight me when I'm about to go toe to toe with. All right, and just bops him one time with that shotgun and rips him in half.
At him, cutting Silverhand in half. Shaitan, taking advantage of the distraction, grappled and immobilized Smasher, telling the rest of the crew to leave. Spider Murphy tried to reach Silverhand, but Rogue.
That's where Shaitan sacrifices.
He was gone. Spider reached into her jacket and pulled out a data slug Alt had uploaded to her a long time ago. Whispering she was sorry to Johnny, Spider inserted the chip into the back of the dying Rocker's skull. She then tried to reach for her data suitcase, but soon realized it had been destroyed in the crossfire. Wishing Alt good luck, Spider helped Rogue and the surviving Lobos to drag the wounded Thompson into the elevator.
Do you notice how she said she wished Alt good luck, not Johnny?
Spider knew Johnny would be avenged, and while touching the remaining data chips in her pocket, she knew Rach Bar Moss would be as well. With their mission complete, Alpha Team began their extraction. Once on top of the building, they got into the rescue AV. It was during the lifting off when they saw Morgan Blackhand going on against Atom Smasher on top of the Arasaka towers.
Do love the little picture idea, but this is, yes, ideally what is actually going on at the top of the towers.
A few minutes later, once the AV was quite far away from the building, a nuke went off.
Mind you, Morgan and Adam are fighting the entire time as the AV is leaving away, and once it's at a safe enough distance, it then.
While the Militech Spec Ops and the Arasaka troopers were in a firefight, somehow the nuclear device prematurely detonated on the 120th floor of the southern tower, inside Kai Arasaka's apartment bunker, where the Soulkiller laboratory was located.
Mm-hmm.
The explosion instantly obliterated the Arasaka towers, splitting them in half and causing both structures to collapse outward. The entire city and corporate district turned into ruins within seconds, with almost everyone in the immediate area dying. The blast instantly incinerated over 12,000 people in the vicinity of the towers and fatally injured upwards of 500,000 more.
So, when you see Johnny being, wheeled out and stuff, that would have just never been the case. You would have not even been able to get that close.
250,000 died in the resulting aftermath over weeks and months. In the aftermath, a Borg firefighter named Samantha Stevens, who was a fan of Silverhand, accessed a wrecked.
So, I just want to point out, that's their idea of what they think she looks like. Now, think again about how the Doctor looks in the memory of Soulkiller being used on Johnny. And I'm just going to say they look heavily similar.
Among the ruins of the Arasaka towers. While exploring the area,
to be actually exact, it's the goggles and the hairpiece that does it.
Samantha found the body of Silverhand in an unexploded Arasaka nuclear device. realizing how dangerous it was, she emptied its contents into the depths of Del Coronado Bay and hid Johnny's body into the nuke crate to preserve it. At some point, she also retrieved some of Johnny's possessions, including one of his Malorian 3516s and his Porsche. She hid all these items, including the bomb case, in her own garage somewhere in Night City. She protected and took care of them for decades, preserving the vehicle in its pristine state by keeping it in cold storage, and maintaining the weapon by using cosmoline.
So yeah, so she preserves all of his stuff, and you'd have to be like, why? Why preserve the memories of Johnny Silverhand? What, like, other than the fact she was an obsessed fan?
And there you have it. That is, for the most part, the completely covered story that we have so far of the events that took place during the Night City Holocaust. Now, the issue with Johnny Silverhand is that he has such an inflated ego and concept.
I can't remember if he brings up the
accidentally
black dog.
Himself. I don't believe he is creating false memories and stories to throw off V. Rather, that he
Trying to check the scrubbing here in the video.
Major
So
left out of
yeah, it doesn't look like, so he doesn't bring it up, but so the Black Dog song is a direct reference to what happens afterwards, what happens after the tower, Samantha Stevens with Angel and everything like that. So he doesn't mention it here, but there is some further stuff. I think it might be in a video. Oh yeah, I think it's in this one here that he did, the retcons. So also, by the way, I will be linking his video down below, chat. So again, let me know what you guys think about the theories, everything like that. And also, if you guys want to check out the original video, it will be down in the description, so that way you guys can go and check out the channel and give him a like and everything like that.
Of Morgan Blackhand, a legendary solo who's in the employ of Militech. Think of him as Militech's Adam Smasher. The rivalry that is perceived by us, the player, between Adam Smasher and Silverhand is in reality between Smasher and Blackhand.
Yes.
The absence of Blackhand directly leads us into another misconception as well. Silverhand replaces Blackhand with himself in his own memories.
Yes, he does, but that's not him himself. He's doing that. See, again, I don't see this as being, this is him doing it. I don't see this as being Arasaka doing this. Obviously, I do feel like Militech has a hand to try to make him hate Arasaka more, and it just kind of maybe backfired.
While Silverhand led his unit, Silverhand was also cut down in his first encounter with Smasher. It was instead Blackhand who was last seen fighting Smasher atop the Arasaka Towers. Silverhand overall is greatly over-exaggerating his own participation within the raid on Arasaka Towers.
Which again, I don't think that's his fault. I feel like his memories are altered, and it's not saying that the memories are lying. It's saying that legitimately, I would say it would be better put, Johnny Silverhand's memories are not what you think. That would be a better way to put that.
By substituting Blackhand's...
We're almost finished with this video you here at Machum, so...
Despite these details being a falsified recollection of the raid on Arasaka, what we view after the raid is a completely falsified memory. Johnny was never taken to be interrogated by Yorinobu Arasaka, seeing as his body was split in half and recovered...
I don't know why he said Yorinobu. I just realized he just accidentally said Yorinobu, but it's Sabaru. Sabaru.
An opportunity for him to be alive or be recovered by Arasaka. His ego made him believe...
So again, look at her and look at how she looks. I feel that is Samantha Stevens.
Much more importance to Arasaka, despite being of no relevance to them or even...
Wait, does it actually say her name? Oh, it says Techie. Techie. I feel like there was a time where we saw her name say Samantha Stevens, though.
Overall, I just want to make this video to help spread the story of what actually occurred during the attack on Arasaka Towers. It's one of those things that are completely left out of the game itself, and is only possible to know if you have read through the tabletop handbooks.
Or you go check out the Neon Arcade. As I said, dude, guys, he did a great video, 2-part series, 1 hour, some odd minutes. I think it's like an hour, 21 minutes for the first part, and like 45-something minutes, or maybe 50 minutes for the second part. If you got some time just to kill, definitely go check it out, especially if you really love the game and you really just want to know more about the lore. It is a great way to get more into, engrossed into the Cyberpunk lore.
I believe greatly add a new perspective to the 2077 story and Johnny Silverhand himself. After listening through to all of this, just let me know what you all think about what actually occurred during the...
So yeah, that's where he pretty much wraps it all up. We'll go ahead and drop him a like as well, because this was a good video. I really did enjoy it. So, and again, I will have his video linked down below in the top of the description below. And after that, I'll have my link tree and all that other stuff, so if you guys want to help support the channel or anything like that. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below, guys. Let me know what you all think about what's going on with Johnny's memories. Do you think that maybe Militech has a hand in it? Do you think maybe Samantha did it on her own? Did Angel even do it? Because there is that theory too that Angel may have actually been the one to alter the memories. We don't know when and where or who alters the set of memories that we have seen being altered now. So, with all that knowledge now, I also want to know, how do you guys feel about where the game has kind of taken its place? I feel like it did a really good job of maybe kind of like doing a little sleight of hand, like, oh, hey, yeah, we're going to show you this, but in reality, this is what's really going on behind the scenes. So I'm really curious to see where Phantom Liberty is going to go. Idris Elba is also going to be in that. That is dope as hell. I am excited to see that. Fucking do love his acting. So would love to see how Idris Elba is going to be in the Phantom Liberty DLC. And I'm excited as shit for whenever the new Cyberpunk game comes out afterwards, because I still don't stop playing this game. To this day, chat, I still play this game as much as I possibly can, because I absolutely love the shit out of it. The lore, the world, the characters, the fashion is definitely like, mwah, love it. So, but yeah, that's where we're gonna wrap it up at all today, chat. Let me know what you guys think of the video. Drop me all the comments down below. Let me like if you happen to like the video, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace out, fam.